So I wanted to start by sharing a story by Kay Gallivan, a local artist here, who told me about this wall by Yoka's Coffee on Mason Street, where someone painted this unusual scene in white paint, where it's not your typical mural. She asked the people at Yoka's, like, what is the history? And as it turns out, there was an original mural behind it, but they painted it over because it got tagged multiple times. So when you do a comparison, and you can see that the composition is kind of similar, it seems like someone came in and decided to recreate from memory, but give it its own twist. Sandcastle becomes mountains, people have disappeared, there's water, dogs, boats, and Yoka's has refused to let anyone paint over it. It stayed the same for about 7 years, and this is what it looks like now. And I took this picture on Monday. I'm a little bit sad about it, but I thought about what could happen next, and really, the wall could be painted over, and maybe if the same person or a different person could come by and recreate a third version of the mural. And it made me eager to see what might come next. So it resonates with me because it's an example of someone taking a small but noticeable effort in changing their environment. And what's noticeable is that someone cared enough about the wall to recreate it. People who are in that space ended up taking ownership of it. Kay noticed it and appreciated it to tell other people about it. So when we're talking about collaboration, that sense of ownership is huge. So Integrate is a nonprofit society that's focused on celebrating art that's in this region. We're a group of people who find incredible value in the art that's here and volunteer our time to cultivate more visibility for that art. Our primary program is the Integrate Arts Festival, which is a free festival and art crawl that happens at the end of August. The work we do is with art organizations and artists of various levels, but one of the things that we really enjoy and are trying to get better at is working with artists, curators, and organizations who are emerging. So those interested in practicing professionally, but maybe don't have the means to do so quite yet. And we want to help them build capacity to do that. And when we collaborate with artists, what we want to do is set up support for them to bring something new and exciting to the city, letting their perspective and work come through. So this is a list of some of the artists we worked with last year. And our role is to make it accessible and visible, making sure that they have the opportunity to share what they do best. So I'm going to share some of our experiences from our last festival, three different artists. We worked with a performance artist, Courtney Cheney, to do a durational piece called Habitat, where she was buried in soil for 3 hours. And we did it downtown Victoria, Saturday night, doors open. Her work explores the human body in nature and the vulnerability of the body. We also had a video of her with her head kind of dipping in soil where she's making various noises. You can put on headphones and listen to it. And people came in and wondered if it was real, but what stuck with me was a family came in. It looked like they were visiting parents, daughter who was maybe 13, and the parents just kind of like wandered in and out. They were just on vacation, but the daughter stayed. She walked around, she saw Courtney's piece, and she decided to watch. And it seemed like there was a moment where her face lit up, like something had clicked, and she dragged her entire family back in and made them watch and listen. And you could tell the adults were just like, no, this is not for us. We do not like this. But the girl was so insistent and so connected to the piece that she would just keep trying to explain why she liked it. And so I almost wanted to go to her and be like, come back in 7 years and we'll make art together. And so we also worked with a dancer, Veronique Emmett, to create a series of site-specific performances called Spaces that's doing improvised dance in everyday spaces to explore how we're influenced by our environment and how we can influence spaces with our movement. And what was nice was watching people walk through the space and participate kind of passively. She also did a workshop with us where anyone could come in, it was free, and explore how to, take up space with your body and move differently. And we had a few experienced dancers, but people who had never really done dance before, particularly this woman in the front who, was interested, but in the end ended up signing up for some classes later on. And I like this photo because, once again, we held it in a public space where when people walked by, they're just like, why are there a bunch of people laying on the ground for no reason? It makes no sense. But it kind of illustrates, this fun thing that's about, taking up space and doing something cool with it. And so I want to talk about Fuse, where we're working with artists Nellie Lamb and Elizabeth Charters, where we created a large installation in the atrium called Fall in Love, You Will Be Happy. And it's about allowing them to carve out their own space and to really figure out how they wanted to put on an event and an installation. So this is a video of it, and it's where the phrase was put in vinyl text on the elevators, and as the elevators moved, the meaning of it changes depending on the vantage point. One funny thing that kept happening was people kept getting stuck in the elevator that had fall on it. And it wasn't intentional, but I don't know why that happened. So this is memorable for us because it's where the work of artists we care about was available to so many people in an immersive way and within the parameters of their daily lives. They didn't have to seek it out specifically. And that's what we hope with Fuse, is that we can offer that opportunity so that to make their own space and make their presence be known. So we want to consider three things when we're working with emerging artists, and it's that it's making their work visible, it's making their work interactive with the public, and it's really embedding it in the ordinary spaces that are around us. And I think that these are the three things that we're needing to create new experiences and to engage in community building. And so when I think about how they change communities, I really think that artists' work can change landscapes and the culture of the city we're in, the way that we see things. And it's important to make sure that the conversation keeps evolving and that a diverse group of people keep coming in, new people keep coming in, and there's more opportunities every day. Because when they're given space, really great things can happen. So in the future, we did a survey looking at just generally, what's the context of the climate that we're in. And this is a survey where we asked, what's the most important issue that communities in Victoria face? I'm not sure how it's visible, but I think some of these items you probably put down on your sheet. It's not that, I think everyone knows that those are the issues that are coming for emerging and existing artists, actually. So what's crucial is that we start building opportunity, access, and resilience, both inside and outside of our communities. And so at the moment, some of us are doing lots of great work now, but maybe for some that's just starting out, maybe it's just like a painting of a dog on a wall, but it still counts in the end.